Heidi and I live in Colorado, and I'm starting this YouTube channel because I have terminal breast cancer and I want it to be a place where people could come to hopefully talk about that. Um, I have found that throughout my 4 years of having cancer, that I have found a lot of medical information, obviously, on the internet between WebMD and Susan G. Komen, American Cancer Society. But there have been times that I've just really wanted kind of more of the patient's perspective. And sometimes I haven't been able to find people talking about what surgeries they chose, what treatments they chose. And so I just kind of wanted to fill that void as much as I could, the void that I've perceived. If other people have found great resources, I would love to hear about those, so please comment below. And I also, a few months ago, found the YouTube channel of a girl named Claire Wineland who had cystic fibrosis, and she knew about that from the time she was little. Cystic fibrosis is terminal, and she just had this amazing channel where she had very informative but frank videos about basically saying like, yeah, I'm gonna die, but it's not the end of the world. And she just did such a good job of not letting her illness own her, and she was so brave and articulate and vibrant. And I'm not at all saying that you have to be inspiring just because you have a terminal illness, but she just really still lived her life the way she wanted to as much as she could. And I know that she formed a community around herself and a lot of cystic fibrosis patients and other people who were just inspired by her vision, visited her page and watched her videos. Claire died last year. She had a lung transplant and developed a blood clot after that, and she died about a week later. And I know that the cystic fibrosis community had a huge hole in it after that, but I've seen comments of people who have just recently found her channel and still are helped by her videos, and I don't have the aspirations that Claire did. She did a TED Talk and wrote a book, but I do hope that I can follow in her footsteps a little bit by just being a place that people can ask questions, maybe even interact with each other in the comments, and maybe find somebody in your own hometown who has your condition or understands or whatever. She made me feel braver. She felt like a companion when I was going through a time of major fear and thinking that I might be dying a lot sooner than I had been preparing myself for. So anyway, yeah, I was just so inspired by Claire, and that's one of the big reasons that I wanted to make this YouTube channel. I've also found that breast cancer is almost taboo to some degree still. People don't seem to have a problem talking about lung cancer, brain cancer. I mean, they're sorry about those diagnoses, of course. I think everybody wishes that nobody got cancer, but I just found that for a couple years I was kind of embarrassed of where my cancer was. Like people act like breast is a dirty word, and I feel like breast cancer is very famous and gets a lot of visibility with Susan G. Komen and stuff, and that's great. I mean, they get a lot of research funding, but I still have felt that people kind of want to shove the anatomy of it like under the rug a little bit, and I just feel bad for like prostate cancer, cervical cancer, uterine, breast. They're just, we can't help where cancer shows up, and it's unfair to people who have those cancers to feel ashamed of their diagnosis, and like they can't openly say breast or discuss like nipple sparing, during mastectomy, because that's like a bad word. Nipple's a bad word. So I'm not like that anymore. I have no shame. I will say it all. And I think that partially comes from a lot of years of appointments where, rooms full of people are looking at my breasts or uterus, and it's probably kind of like childbirth in that you just sort of are like, whatever. I don't have any particular shame about my body anymore. So I hope that this can be an open place to talk about breast cancer and other cancers too. And I also think, like, I'll go into my story a little bit and just, the surgical decisions I've made and the medications I'm on and things like that. I just got a degree in medical physics, more specifically diagnostic imaging. And so I also think that I'll go into the physics behind scans a little bit, maybe so people can just understand a little bit. I'm not going to go super nerd about it. I won't whip out equations, I promise. But I've had every scan I can think of, every type of diagnostic imaging except one, I think. So yeah, I might go into those a little bit. I've found that having an MRI after having learned about them makes the banging more tolerable and kind of interesting. And so anyway, if anybody's going through a scan and they want to know about it, I'd love to give a kind of brief overview of what exactly that scan is for and why you have to drink that disgusting thing beforehand and stuff like that. If anybody has comments or questions that they want me to address specifically, I'd be more than happy to. I would love to interact with people through this channel. I hope people will watch. I don't have super high expectations or anything, but anyway, I would love it if it could become kind of a community where people can ask questions and just say the things that are on their mind about having cancer or having a terminal illness or just living life, because I feel like having a terminal illness sure puts life in perspective. Just a little bit about me. My oncologist has given me an average life expectancy of 5 years. So of course that's a bell curvy thing, and some people get more than that, some people get less. And I try not to think about it too much just because no one really knows. Speculation probably only brings grief at this point. And honestly, I have the same odds as ever of just being hit by a bus anyway. And the earth has the same probability as ever of being hit by a meteor. So I try not to think about it too much. Obviously, having cancer does affect my life. I have a lot of appointments and I have a lot less energy than I used to have. But anyway, I just am, trying to live my life as well as I can in the time that I have and appreciate my family and friends. And it's not all bad. So the one kind of disclaimer that I do want to make is it seems like every time anybody talks about any illness, a lot of well-meaning people say, well, you should try this, drink this, eat this, go here, and it will cure your cancer. And I'm all for hearing stuff about try acupuncture for pain or try this kind of tea for nausea, things to treat symptoms. That's great, and that can be really good information and really helpful to people. But it's when people say go to Germany and heat yourself up to unsafe temperatures and it'll cure your cancer, that I think that becomes unhelpful. I have amazing doctors and I'm so lucky to have them. I can't imagine going through all this without healthcare or without good doctors. But just generally speaking, I trust the medical field. I trust my doctor so much. And at the university I was at, so many people are doing incredible, complex, amazing cancer research, trying to cure cancer. And I just think it does a disservice to them when people are saying oh no, it's as easy as drinking nothing but kale smoothies, that'll do it for you. And I think it just gives false hope to cancer patients who then go Google, this supposed cure that somebody's found a few months ago. Right about when I was diagnosed, somebody said to me oh, well, some Israeli scientists just claim to have cured cancer. And I go and Google it, and, very quickly, very easily, I find oh, nobody else believes this. It hasn't been reviewed. So anyway, if anybody has several peer-reviewed journal articles pointing to a cure, please share that. But
not just speculation or, your neighbor's uncle's co-worker's best friend did this and that worked for them. So anyway, I hope that people will comment and ask any questions. I'm going to try to post a couple times a week, and I think my next video will be a hopefully brief medical history of me, which is fun. Lots of lightning strikes, and that shouldn't be happening to you. You're too young. There's no way. So anyway, I'll address all that. Thank you for watching. Bye.